we jump back into Champ Select. I'm very curious to see what they've got in store for us. I hope they have some type of cool pocket picks prepared.
I'm seeing some cool hovers. We'll wait till the audience can see it before we get too excited.
Yeah, I mean, Baus was hovering the Irelia, AP Irelia Classic. I mean, the Dr. Mundo, that was the champ they found the most success on. It was the Orianna Mundo, but
now the Ryze as well.
Yeah.
I'm liking it so far.
Yeah.
Ryze has been a little bit hit or miss. We've seen really essentially feast or famine games for Ryze, but something that Serin is pretty comfortable on is the Ryze, so I am concerned if he wants to play the Cassio. And we're going to see an immediate Aphelios lock in alongside the Cassio. Oh my god, do not let this team near a Baron.
Yeah, I mean, Ice after yesterday with the double pentakill on Aphelios, even though he doesn't see the enemy ADC, he sees the low range Ryze, he sees the Dr. Mundo, and he knows that that's enough to just lock it in. And then the Cassio, much the same. They have an incredible DPS here built up for Team Heretics, and we'll see what Crownie wants to counter with. I mean, Caitlyn is a great matchup into the Aphelios. Also sets up Rekkles very nice for a range support. It's a hard combination to execute. Many teams have tried, many teams have failed.
True.
But something like the Caitlyn Karma, something like the Caitlyn Lux can definitely do some wonders here.
Yeah, nice to have access to those traps. If you can get first set up around the objective, makes it a little harder for enemy team to approach. Although the range here from the side of Team Heretics with that J-Shock Blast will be a little bit tough to contend with, as we see an Aatrox banned away for now. What else is going to follow is the big question. And I like that we're seeing the Caitlyn as just something new. Yeah. Part of it, I think, is the Corki's ban, but I think Caitlyn, a champion who can be that big late game threat. Obviously, pretty tough to match an Aphelios, but a lot of squishy champions that Caitlyn, one or two headshots, really you can just take over a fight.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the Caitlyn Karma KC played it. Kalista and Busio up against Demko, and they weren't able to quite find a win there. It is a bot lane that you have a lot of power, but it's really hard to execute on because the power is slow stacking. You're slowly poking them out, you're slowly getting advantages, and all it takes is one play to go bad, one gank that the enemy gets off on you, they shut you down and they kill you, and then suddenly all that advantage is gone.
There is, it looks like a Narban, boom, coming through.
Narban.
Double melee topside matchup would be pretty exciting to watch. I would personally love that, although you can see that Team Heretics, aware of the range champion pool of Rekkles, trimming the Bard away does make sense. But you highlighted it so well. Part of the reason that Caitlyn is so infrequently popular in the LEC, even when she's good internationally, is exactly what you said. It is, you have to play really perfectly. And while there were some small eras in days past, it's just not something we see a lot of, Caitlyn plus a range support.
And with the Cho'Gath ban, it makes me think that Team Heretics wants to look for maybe a tank in the top lane, as that's typically what Cho'Gath is played into. But they already banned the Sion out, so the Cassandra is kind of the only champ that really speaks to me. Baus is just going to blind pick the Kled like this. I would have liked to just see support here. I feel like it's very obvious that you want to go for the Karma or the Lux. You did ban out two top laners, however. So with this, they can get a much better pick for Rekkles, but we'll see what Stend ends up blind picking, and if Tracyn has something nice into this Kled, or if it's just a Cassandra.
Cassandra.
Wow.
Again, fine. I think stable, relatively stable topside compared to what we've seen the last few days. Definitely feels like it favors Los Ratones, but again, Tracyn, a player who's had some really rough games and some really outstanding games. Maybe this can be one of the latter, as Nautilus, yep, okay, pretty standard lock-in. Not a lot of defensive kind of peeling tools for the Aphelios, it's important to say, but there's very little dive on Los Ratones, so I don't think it's the end of the world.
I mean, I do wonder here if Rekkles will be kind of baited into the Braum, because it's a good matchup into the Nautilus. I hope he sticks to his guns and goes something like the Renata or the Lux instead, and just kind of doubles down on this poking bot lane playstyle and try to... it's going to be the Braum. I mean, the problem... Like, Caitlyn Braum is a great lane as well, and it's really good into the Aphelios Nautilus. It's just not that same explosive firepower that I think they really needed if they were to hard bully out this bot lane. Now it's kind of like Stend can never hook in, but it's mostly just Ice and Crownie who's going to be left to the 1v1, and neither supports are going to have that high pressure.
Yeah, and it's tough for Los Ratones to start a fight. The range with Caitlyn is good, but the range of the J Shock Blast is also really solid. It's easy to see a world where, depending on who is ahead in this game, they can kind of just either back away or, maybe in the case of the Mundo, rush full tilt into the enemy team. But it's going to be, I think Los Ratones have a much harder comp to play. I don't like having no engage source from jungle or from support. Okay, yeah, like Braum is a little bit, but like, you know.
Yeah, they have a strong lack of CC for sure. They have a lot of mobility, at least, with the Kled ult, with the Ryze, so they can look to pick people off that way, but just in terms of pure CC, there's not a whole lot to go around. At least you're going to have the Ghost on the Ryze to look to run people down, presumably.
We need to see Team Heretics Stend saying, laughing, wasn't going to be an easy win for Los Ratones, or the most likely win. He's feeling good. 2-2 the score for Team Heretics. Los Ratones 0-4. Some stable lane matchups, some comfort picks. Overall, liking this particular cocktail of a draft. Feels like it came together a little bit better than the last few days. So some things to be excited about, but still have to show up on the Rift, find their footing in this early game, which just, you know, hasn't really been the case in so many of their matchups.
I mean, I think as a viewer, you might find that our cast is a little bit like Los Ratones' favorite, but I think in general, when you have this sort of underdog team, typically when you talk about win cons, it's always about highlighting how the underdog can find a way to win the game, because presumably the one that is, you know, the overdog is, it's obvious that they're going to win because they have so many, the overdogs.
I've literally never heard anyone say overdog in my entire life.
Yeah, I don't know.
The overdog, yeah.
The big dog.
Yeah.
The big dog will just
I
eat
get
the
you.
small dog.
We'll hope
so
it's
how
not.
does small dog win? Well, Baus has a fine matchup where he will not get punished, which is a big contrast to the other games where he's pretty much been playing really hard matchups up against the Nars consecutively. Bot lane is pretty nice and I'd say quite hard winning for LR. If Crownie can space ice well and find good trades, they can definitely leverage that to their advantage. Ryze as well in the early game can roam both to bot and top this game to impact the game. And I think Nemesis is very smart about the game and he has a lot of good ideas on how to play it out. So it's really good to give him that agency to be able to help laners out. And then Velja on the Mundo, it's just a really easy pick to execute. And he also then provides just the tankiness that Los Ratones needs.
That they do. As we go later in the game, of course, it's easy to see him getting shredded with the sustained damage of an Aphelios or a Cassio, but especially at earlier stages of the game, it is just really hard to kill that Mundo. See who, you know, kind of takes the burden of maybe building some healing reduction if Velja does pull ahead in this one. Is Serin and Nemesis trading blows. Cassio, incredibly difficult mid laner to execute really, really well, but obviously has a pretty solid matchup into the Ryze.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that I'm worried about for LR is just the amount of DPS on this Team Heretics squad. Like, the Aphelios, the Cassio, they're just gonna melt through this Dr. Mundo so incredibly fast that unless they're able to play the fights very well and space very well and find the exact moments that they need, I could see Velja going a little bit too deep, as he often has, and he just ends up getting exploded way too quickly.
Might not be too deep quite yet, however, as Serin moving up. Sheo waiting.
Yeah, Serin still has the Ghost and Sheo to assist him, so he'll be fine.
Not sure if you saw the crab started, but we'll just move back down to the bottom side of the map. They'll know until he's wandering down, but not going to cost him too much. Does give a bit of space for Nemesis to recall, get that initial tier purchase. Hook connecting in bot lane is good, but an immediate unbreakable response means there's a bit of a window to punish Stend here, especially as the Aftershock fades away. And that is one of the reasons we talked about this bot lane duo. It's really hard to all in this particular set of champions.
Yeah. I mean, it's really hard for Aphelios not to ever really find an advantage here, but as you can see in the CS, Aphelios is only down 2 minions. It's not really the end of the world for him whatsoever. And if he can just continue farming like this up until the mid game, then you have a situation where Aphelios Nautilus is going to be much more useful in team fights.
Very true. Caitlyn, so much of it just comes from, I feel like, snowballing those early leads, building those greater advantages. Is Unbreakable used, heal going to be used as well. Trap is there, but the root comes in from Ice. He's trying to respond. Still a positive trade for Los Ratones, though.
Yeah, some good damage onto Stend, while Ice tries to trade back a little bit onto Crownie.
And I think for Team Heretics, you're fine, like, as you mentioned, going even.
Yeah.
You talked about it. The scaling feels like it heavily favors you in a lot of areas. And again, you have much more of a reliable CC package. So in an even-ish game state, you just have better tools, I think, to set yourself up for success. Doesn't mean you'll execute better, but the options definitely feel more abundant.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you have higher DPS while having a similar-ish frontline to Los Ratones. while also having a little bit more of a guaranteed engage with that Nautilus ult. So as the game progresses, you're really looking for Los Ratones to be the initiator, to be the proactive one to look to make something happen, as some hooks are flying in bot lane, but not much action in general here.
Yep. That said, decent gold lead starting to brew in mid. 178 is...
Oh, a bit of a cheese.
On the way down,
forward,
marking ice, 2 stacks. Crownie gets 3, but they don't want to overcommit. Worried about a potential turn there. Ice, of course, does also have access to the cleanse, so it's a little bit difficult. And now Team Heretics can respond by trying to make a play happen mid lane. Nemesis, good sidestep on the shock blast.
Yeah, some good trades by Nemesis there. Still, though, it's Serin with the slight gold lead and the early CS lead onto Nemesis.
Blind little briefcase over the wall. Another briefcase going to hit. Sheo struggling with the shock blast, and with the first strike, he'd really like to get that. You know, it's not a ton of gold, but it's nice
the dopamine, really. It's the mental warfare. This is pure mental warfare going on right now. As Velja is going to look to secure the Krabus is going to spawn, but Stend is here. And Serin as well chose to stay. Velja needs to get this crab and get the hell out of dodge. He gets level 6 from the crab, has the Mundo passive to get out as well.
And that is one of the beauties of the composition. Mundo passive, you know, blanks so much of the initial CC, and really the 2 things you're looking out for is, 3 rather, is kind of the hook in from Nautilus, the Felios Gravitum snare, or the ulti from the Nautilus is the big upfront pieces of CC. Cassio ult as well. So really easy for him for a lot of this game to just walk away unscathed or walk even further into the fight if he so chooses. Crownie has the BF sword, Ice with the boots too, so as long as Crownie can get in range to auto attack, but Ice just trying to play on the edge here. Sheo starting to wander down to bottom lane. The last 2 shock blasts have gone awry, mayhaps the 3rd.
See ya.
He wants the money. No.
He misses.
No.
Does get the ward though. Pressures Los Ratones out a bit. But crucially, Crownie has the BF sword. Probably gonna go into Storm Racer. While Ice, I'm assuming, will probably go Collector again today.
He likes
Decided to go for the Berserker Greaves rush here. It's pretty uncommon to see, but it's a good tactic when you're up against an outraging enemy bot lane, as you can always then look to space them, as it might be a solo kill on top here.
Mounting, looking to remount now. Tracyn is going all out. Bear trap on a rope. Q3 ready to go for Tracyn. Tracyn just going to accept this as Baus slowly waddles away. Another bear trap. D-mounts as he gets the ulti off. Tracyn full committal here. Flashback from Baus, and that's first blood for Tracyn.
That's a solo bolo, as Baus ends up falling once more.
Serin, though, forcing the ultimate. Nemesis trying to back away. Yeah, that's 5 for 5. Solo killed every game. Baus better this time around in the initial stages, but still falling short in those all-ins post-level 6s. The good news, at the very least, for Los Ratones is that they have set up now around the Drake.
Has he been solo killed every game? Oh, wow. That's a kind of a crazy statistic.
I
Los
mean,
Ratones get the Drake, though.
The man is committed to trying to outplay, which
that's true.
Cool, but obviously does set you up to look silly sometimes. It's Velja.
There's no play here. The wave is already gone. It's too awkward, I think.
Stend already hooked the wall. Q flash. Ulti goes in, completely wide.
It's just so overforced. It's really hard to make a gank work like this when enemy team has already gotten the wave. And now you're such an awkward position here. As Velja ends up wasting a lot of time, and those Void Grubs, all 3 of them go over to Team Heretics.
Comfortable spot to be. Dragon stacking, nice to have for Los Ratones. Maybe means they have first setup in the future. But yeah, definitely not an ideal sequence of play there. The death on the top side as well as the overforce on the bot side is Tracyn no ulti.
Oh, Baus. Okay.
Baus is going to remount.
Not a whole lot of damage on Baus' Kled this game.
Rekkles going in. The
Nemesis
root immediately
flashes.
connects. They want to burn through Serin. They know that he has no ultimate, but they don't commit any further. Hook in, and they're going to take down Velja. Velja's going to ult, but he ulted too late. Sheo grabs the kill. Didn't respect the Jace damage output there.
I'd love to get a replay there. I think Velja misplayed. He didn't get the auto reset on his E, it looked like. Because they for sure should have had the damage to take down Serin there. Ends up being a disaster for LR as Nemesis flashes forward for what looks like a good play, but it ends up being just Velja falling. They continue to fall behind all across the map.
difficult. Both the plays they forced on the bottom side of the map, bot lane and mid lane, have just gone awry. First one, just not an efficient use of spells, right? Just trying to overforce the mid lane, another overforce, but this time costing them the life of Velja.
Let's see here. So Nemesis gets the E spread onto Serin, flash W's, and then Velja, he doesn't get the E auto reset. He needs to do auto tech E, but he just used his E. That's why he doesn't have enough damage to take down Serin. Bit of a mechanical misplay there. They fumble that kill and fumble their chance at the game.
That's a tough one. Crownie and Rekkles do get a bit of time alone on the bottom side to help start to balance out the gold. Most of the gold in top lane and jungle. So if Ratones can find another fight where those two players aren't involved, Sheo or Tracyn, there's some hope here, but it's a tough one, especially given how heavily physical damage focused the Ratones lineup is between the Kled and the Caitlyn, and Tracyn really doesn't mind just continuing to stack armor.
Yeah. And Tracyn is going to be very, very strong in this game, and Caitlyn and Ryze are not exactly the best tank killers. Caitlyn gets to a point where she does an incredible amount of damage, but that's like hyper late game.
Yeah.
She has this interesting power spike that's kind of like a V-curve, essentially, that she starts off incredibly strong, then gets kind of weak in the mid game, and then towards the later stages of the game, once she's like nearly full build, then she's suddenly Exodia again, one-shotting everybody with headshots. That could be a win con that LR could play towards, but at the same time, if it's 40 minutes and both Aphelios and Caitlyn are full build, I think I'd rather have the Aphelios.
Yeah, again, the ease of execution. Aphelios, a good ult, a good sequence when you got the white gun is just enough to just end the game, whereas Caitlyn, you need that setup, you need those opportunities with the traps, which are often hard to come by. Unless you're first on the setup, and unlikely to happen now that most Ratones find themselves in this deficit, although Velja is going to make sure that he gets the crab. Sheo now running. Nemesis, nice sidestep on the hook, but the ulti in mid lane is going to make things tough.
Oh, Stend has no hook here.
Caught out. This is going to be the kill, given over. Crownie grabs it. You're going to go back to Los Ratones, so a nice pick. They are going to lose plates in the bottom lane. So, costs them a little bit.
Yeah, Ice is able to pick up one plate there and deny one wave from Crownie.
Crownie?
Oh,
Crownie? Uh-oh. Well, nope, that was not it. That was really bad.
Yeah.
I would love to mince words. That was terrible. And that sucks, because he did just get that kill. I get the dopamine of wanting to push for more, had the rest of the team on the way, but
I feel like he didn't mean to press ulti there. Because it was kind of weird. He like walked in auto attack range and then started ulting him.
maybe meant to E backwards, accidentally pushed ult.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, that was a pretty big mistake for Crownie. It's going to end up costing both his sums and his life. And kind of mitigating any sort of advantage they got from that kill earlier.
Damn. Well, first item, hopefully on the way to be finished. Something to look forward to, but Los Ratones, the silver linings we often try to find in their games, try to give them the benefit of the doubt. They fought so hard last year. And in spring, I mean, in spring, Masters. I feel like we haven't gotten back to that level, which I think is what's disappointing for a lot of people. I don't know if they ever hit the highs that a lot of people wanted to attribute to them, although they were super dominant. I don't know if they were ever going to be a top 4 team.
You feel like they're playing worse now than they were playing?
Yeah.
Or don't you think it's a little bit unfair though, because they're playing against a much better competition?
No. Yes, that is absolutely part of it as well.
Like, I think people underestimate how weak ERLs are these days.
Compared to LEC? Yeah, no, yes. I think that's a fair portion of the discussion as well. I'm just saying that even with that in account, I still feel like this team is playing under what their ceiling was when we saw them in ERLs, in EMEA Masters.
Yeah, I could see it. They're quite lifeless.
It's tough.
We'll see how they can play this Drake here.
Or maybe Velja can steal it. Nice, secures the objective. Ice trailing behind, but Team Heretics can't stop it, so second Drake.
Yeah, 2 Drakes for Los Ratones. Maybe we caster curse them in a good way, as they get Stend's flash as well. It's going to be the Chemtech Soul. It's very nice for the Mundo, but not so much for everybody else.
Not too bad on the quad of the Ryze.
Yeah, but you would have wanted something else.
Yeah,
like you could have Hextech.
Yeah, of course you'd want something else.
Yeah, so.
But not the end of the world. Is Rekkles just doing what he can to hold the wave here, and
yeah, just pissing off Ice a little bit.
Being annoying, being unbreakable.
Since losing a lot of HP though, it's gonna probably be forced to base now. Stend comes back from base with full HP.
Ooh, Crownie has to be careful to stick around too long. Well, the Velja's on the way down, so maybe there's an angle. Zooming in.
Flash, but
That is a Swifties Mundo. He is a fast boy. Nemesis also on the way down. So Tony's playing a lot around bottom lane this game. I like it, as it's where the Braum is. It's where that CC setup is.
yeah, but I think it was a mistake there of Rekkles to try to hold that mid wave. Because it led to the rest of the map being so awkward as Velja wanted to find the gank, but Rekkles wants the base. And now Baus is, I think, 99% dead, but maybe he can find a miracle.
Black, a little bit more. Flash away. Not quite enough life. One more auto.
He gets that remount, and Sheo might end up falling. No flash on him, but
Team Heretics playing on the edge, but really making it work. Again, this top side of the map, Tracyn and Sheo really dominating for the entirety of this game. Tracyn, especially in the 1v1, is Serin caught out. The E, the flash away, the route to follow. That's enough to get the job done. Nemesis on the board, grabs the kill.
great sidestep by Nemesis there on the Cassie ulti. Quickly clicks back to get out of it, and that ends up being Serin falling with now Nemesis ulting down to bot lane.
Ice into the bot side play. W forward from Rekkles. Immediate cleanse going to come out. Ulti doesn't hit, however. Ice now going to try to turn things back with an ult of his own, but he just doesn't really have the damage. And Los Ratones grab another kill.
Yeah, they're making some good plays back to back as they get Ice's sums. They take down Stend. Now Crownie can finally get to hit the spot tower, which he's been really wanting to do as when you're playing this Caitlyn.
Ulti hits onto Ice. Ice still not too concerned, however. Keep in mind, on the top side of the map, Sheo has just been doing Herald this entire time.
Yeah, I mean, Team Heretics are getting some great cross-map plays. You see 2K lead now from Sheo over Velja. And nearly 2K on the top lane as well. It's really the jungle and the top lane that are pulling ahead here from Team Heretics. It's going to be really scary as we approach these next fights.
We'll just need to track how much of a problem Sheo is for those Ratones in these fights, because he's going to be a pretty big one. As long as the Shock Blasts are hitting ideal targets, it'll be good. As Baus now running. Ulti hook. Ooh. Stend if it hit the wall or the Kled would have been enough, but in this case hit neither, so Baus just barely able to make it out.
Yeah, I think if it hits Baus, he's still out, no? Because he's unstoppable and he
probably
wouldn't get in front of him. But Ice has no flash here.
Ice
dead.
Caught out again.
Great play by Los Ratones. They find Ice on mid lane. Finally, Crownie getting some redemption. So they're able to now hit mid tower as well. They might be able to break the full turret here. Stend wants to Hex Flash over.
Nah, not the best Hex Flash angle. And again, for Sheo, if he can connect the poke onto Crownie or get into range of Crownie, it feels good. But this is one of the reasons we talked about the Braum earlier on is as long as Rekkles is in front, as long as Velja's behind him, it's hard for Sheo to do much more than throw out the stray Shock Blast.
Yeah. Some great plays from Los Ratones here to try to close this gold gap somewhat. It's still the top in the jungle that are a bit of a problem, but you see Nemesis building a lead of his own, and Crownie's doing the same. These are really the pillars that Los Ratones needs to play around. They carried them and played so well last year.
And one of the things that we were looking for, and I think a lot of fans were looking for, was the scaling options for Nemesis and Crownie. Ryze scales pretty fantastically, as does the Caitlyn. Although, again, execution on the side of the Cassio Phelios, it's a bit easier.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say that on the Cassio. Cassio's really hard to play, but she gets to, you know, build.
She can run people down a bit easier.
She can run people down, yeah.
It's an interesting build from Ice here. He decided to go the Collector into LDR. It's kind of like when you have a calculator and then you decide to turn it off and not use it.
Is that true? Have you done the math? I haven't done the math. I can see the logic that the percentage increase in damage against a Mundo, a Kled, and a Ryze, all of whom are going to have.
But then why am I building Collector? Like, it doesn't make any sense. If I think they will be so tanky that by second item,
yeah, then don't make this about the LDR.
Okay.
It's about the Collector. You just want Stormraiser.
No, but I'm fine with Collector. But you should only buy Collector if you think they're not going to buy armor.
They've rung the bell. It's time to fist fight.
Okay. Fight.
down the bear rope. Ready to get things going as he's going to demount. Rekkles is in the area. Tracyn unstoppable for a moment as the stun manages to connect. Good follow-up damage.
He's dead.
Tracyn still lives for a moment. Flash backwards into the footwork. Some good follow-up poke from Sheo, but Los Ratones take control of mid lane, shift their sights now down to the third Drake.
Oh, this would be huge for Los Ratones, but Tracyn has the TP. It's crucial that they weren't able to kill him there, as they can look to retake now.
Poke only connects onto Velja. Might come down to the 50-50 smite.
They're gonna get up.
Managed to take it and walk away. Well played. 2K gold at this stage of the game. It's not negligible, but it's not unplayable, clearly. So Ratones stick around bot lane, however. It looks like Ice, in the meantime, is going to be able to knock down that mid lane tier 1. Okay.
Okay.
We got a 5, you know.
There's some life. There's
Couple
some life
minutes
in
until
this
the
game.
soul. I
Yeah.
gotta say, after you said that, what do we see? Multiple back-to-back 3-man groupings of Crownie, Rekkles, and Velja just playing for kills, finding the angle.
Very true. Also, did you get the collector LDR thing? You understand my gripe?
I understand. I mean, I understand your gripe. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm not like a collector super fan or anything.
No, I'm not a collector super fan either. It's just there are times when it's okay, but if you think the enemy will buy so much armor that you buy LDR second, then it doesn't make any sense to buy it.
But have you felt the dopamine of buying a serrated Dirk on your first recall?
Yes.
Yeah.
Obviously, it feels good. But he didn't do that. He bought Berserker with his first recall.
True.
Oh, but Nemesis doesn't have the ultimate.
Trying to get tricky on the side steps here, but again, you talked about the Cassio so good at
Wait
walking
a minute.
opponents down, trying to get tricky onto Sheo. Nemesis still living for an extra moment. Oh, good response
Velja's
damage.
here, though.
Velja's here, and they don't really have a whole hell of a lot of CC to stop this Mundo from doing what he wants. Stend wants to make the difference, but that Mundo's unstoppable. Serin running for his life. Crownie is here to pick up the kill. And Team Heretics, they're getting overconfident. They've underestimated the Rats.
Los Ratones, they still have some life in them, and it's Nemesis at the helm that's leading the place, outplaying. He baits and buys so much time for his team to pick up the kills. It's 2 kills for Los Ratones. They're gonna get the top tower as well, and it's all on the back of Nemesis.
Yeah, credit to him. Just outplaying in the 2v1, living way longer than he should be able to. Now the gold, only 1,000 difference between the two teams.
I mean, it's just some great sidestep here on the Cassio Qs. Dodges the first one, gets hit by the second one. Dodges the Jace Q here, flashes the melee Jace Q. Dodges the Cassio Q, sidesteps the Cassio ulti. Then eventually ends up going down, but at that point he's brought them both so low. They've used so much that Velja can flash forward, take down Sheo, and Crownie can take down Serin. And 2 hard steel procs as well. Just the cherry on top.
Maximum dopamine. Team Heretics starting to struggle a little bit in these side lane plays. Haven't been able to leverage Tracyn's advantage as much as they would like. And
Ooh, Baus is in trouble.
also, yeah, you highlight it.
Gonna
Might be
have
the
to
victim.
find some creative
Unstoppable
escape
now.
here.
Sheo trying to get in range to get the target. Will not be targeted as wants to run for his life. Demount. Sheo continues. Yeah, there's nowhere for him to go. Down he goes.
Oh, it's a bad death.
That is a bad death.
Nemesis is going to get some plates on bot at least, but I'm worried that Team Heretics could look to start Nash here, but maybe with Nemesis pressuring on side.
We said it in the draft too. That is a Cassio Aphelios. If he's got the white gun and Cassio shows up, that objective will die. He doesn't have the white gun though.
Yeah, he doesn't have crazy good guns for the Nash. And Baus will be up in 20 seconds.
Oh, he's cycling as quick as he can though, and Blue's about to run out. So,
okay, he's going to have white gun. He has white gun.
all right. Velja has secured a lot of objectives this game. They're going to need him to secure this one. 5K, getting lower. Nemesis waiting over the wall. Crownie now going to get locked up. Baron at 3K, getting lower. Team Heretics set to finish with the health bars. A miracle for Los Ratones. He finds the steal. Team Heretics set to get the objective. They had the setup, they had the damage, but now Nemesis is on the chase. It's a bit of a split fight as Velja's off to the side. 1v1ing Tracyn.
Nemesis wasn't able to pick up more kills, but Velja with the steal, he's the hero Los Ratones so desperately needed, and now he looks to chase down Tracyn as well with the help of Crownie. And with Drake spawning in 50 seconds, if they can kill Tracyn here, okay, he has the mega plants of doom.
Infinite mega plants.
Wait! TP from Baus.
They're not done.
He has the flash, he's gonna
Wants
flash
to go
over the wall. Follows him. Gets
Unstoppable mega cone! Okay,
oh my god, the mega, there was so many plants.
That's a lot of plants.
Yeah.
That man is a plant enthusiast.
Well, as we watch the replay here, it's Velja that's able to use his Mundo passive to get unstoppable. Tracyn doesn't get the W on him, and then he just barely smites it. A perfect smite at 1390. He gets that objective.
You can see catharsis for Yamato and the rest of the staff behind the scenes. I assume for Cajun as well. I can't tell if he's popping off. I don't really have the angle. But
He's for sure popping off.
for sure
this is
popping off.
winnable.
You wanted life. You said no life. They give you life. Keep smack talking them. This is I don't know if it's your curse, but it seems to be working.
There's a lot of life. Drake is up. This is a big one. Baus is off on the side.
Hoping to get
Heretics
mid.
Want to hold their position here, don't want to let Los Ratones in.
Los Ratones, I mean, the pressure here around Soul means they haven't been able to use their Baron to get any objectives on the map, but it has given them a bit of control here. Nemesis getting poked, not ideal.
Crownie's a little bit zoned off here. Tries to enter with this
Has
team.
to be really careful on the flank here. If Tracyn gets on top of him, the fight's going to fall apart pretty quickly. Ice breaks the Mundo passive. Velja not sure if he can walk to pick up the canister.
Forced to enter through bot here. This feels really bad as the team with Baron Nashor.
Crownie's just a little bit late. This is the struggle. You really want to have a trap line set up, but he hasn't really been able to put too many down. Hoping to punish. Baus on the flank.
Baus looks for the pressure.
A little bit bold. Might come down to another 50-50. Lots of poke onto Nemesis. Already that blinking health bar. Objective getting lower and lower. Ice waiting over the walls. Ice ready to go. Ulti there. But Velja gets the soul. Los Ratones immediately barreling forward. And Tracyn has been locked up. Baus on the backside trying to create as much space as he can, but his eyes on Ice. Ice who hopes to make a difference, but Velja and Baus are on top of him. Holding on to a bit of hope now as Nemesis takes out Sheo. Crownie keeping it going. Los Ratones taking the fight. Ice goes down. It's the ace.
It's the ace for Los Ratones, and they're looking to run down mid lane. They might have just done it. 40 seconds on Ice, 30 seconds on Sheo. Okay, they kept that. They're not playing toward the end, but they got the soul. They have the Nash.
Los Ratones revitalized in their 5th game in LEC Versus. Their fans as well. The streamer, a booth down from us as well. Job is not done.
They need one more fight.
But seeing signs of life, seeing more of what people wanted from this lineup and this roster.
It's a beautiful ulti here from Ice, but it doesn't quite land onto the key LR carries. And this fight looks so good for Team Heretics when Serin gets this 3-man ulti. But it doesn't matter because it's just not enough and there's no follow-up on it. And then Ice is able to pick up Baus as he runs away, but Nemesis TPs into the back line, and he's an absolute monster this game with the amount of damage he has in these fights. As he takes down Ice as well, he gets a triple kill.
And credit to Velja for the smite secure around Baron, the steal, as well as the Drake there. But remember that it was Nemesis, it feels like, who brought them back into this game. Certainly Rekkles, Crownie, Velja, that trio doing what they can to find those quick picks. But now, 27 minutes in, 5K gold lead, Soul behind them.
Yeah. And now the Nash is the next objective. The next play on the menu, unless Los Ratones can look to find a pick before that.
Sheo.
They're looking for Sheo here. The Ryze ult comes through. Velja.
Poke. Nemesis stepping up. Caught in the unstoppable. Just one-shotting. The knockup's going to finally be there, but it might be a little bit too late. Now Baus is on the way. The charge coming through, but won't find a target quite yet. Instead, they're going to take down the tower. They're going to break open the inhib line. And the confidence and the damage.
The damage from Nemesis is the 4K gold lead on mid lane. Nemesis is truly showing his prowess this game.
Wow. The haters in shambles. Well, maybe not in shambles. They're just going to shift their attention elsewhere. But Los Ratones, it was a rough early game. Some big missteps, safe to say. Baus going down early on, but still has been a pretty relevant threat in this game. And at the end of the day, Nemesis in this matchup, I mean, comfortable. He's no stranger to this matchup, even at this time in the LEC, but really has been the driving force behind this team.
Yeah. And looking at the damage craft, I'm surprised that Sheo's is such high. I mean, it makes sense as he's playing this poking Jace champ, but I feel like he hasn't really had the impact that I was looking for with how big his gold lead was on Velja. I suppose Velja's smites have also done a lot of work this game.
That they have. Mundo, tough to just obliterate that health bar. It gets easier now that Ice has 3 items, to be certain. But that poke damage, again, really needs to hit a key target. And you saw in the fight around Drake, around that soul point, that they got Nemesis to about half HP. And that was all the poke of Sheo making that happen. But it just wasn't enough to stop Los Ratones from having that bigger advantage. Now, Team Heretics really on the back foot. Blue trinket, spotting them out around the objective. I feel like Los Ratones could start it, especially with the Ryze, obviously.
They definitely want to look to start it. They just want to push insides. Now, Nemesis basing probably has the Rabadon completed. That's a big, big spike for this Ryze. I mean, if he was doing a lot of damage before, he's going to be doing a whole lot more now. And now with this, I think they're going to push down this mid lane. start Nashor with it.
Again.
Well, Baus is just split pushing on bot here. It's actually Team Heretics that has decided they want to try to get control of Nash. And while Baus is just pushing bot, they're going to start it.
Also doesn't really have a wave here. It's going to clear one more. Might opt to stick around. Frey on the 50-50. Finally going to TP to get involved. Unbreakable already used before the fight even breaks out. That could be rough. Ice, red and white, ready to fight the fight. But Baus now stepping up, as is Tracyn. The Baron still leashed. 3.9k HP. It's a messy fight. Crownie at half HP. Sheo, huge shock blast onto the backline. It's a very slow, extended fight, and Ice is having a hell of a time with it. Neither side able to knock down a member, and the Baron heals right back up. And there's supers now in the mid lane that demand an answer.
Crownie is looking to just run to lifesteal somewhere, I think, because he has VT. I'm not sure. He's looking for Raptors, trying to find.
They're trying to cancel the recalls. Nemesis ready to turn.
Sheo's in trouble here.
Going back.
Rekkles
Rekkles is here as well. Sheo going to fall. And that was such a messy, messy fight because those Ratones had access. Oh, that'll be killed. Crownie. Feels
and
good.
Now with 2 kills, they're going to run for the Nashor.
And how is this the same game that started with Crownie randomly ulting and immediately dying for it? How is this the same game where Baus got solo killed? But I guess that's Los Ratones.
That's Los Ratones.
They've turned it around.
That's the magic they bring.
Second Baron of the game. They have Soul. It's 10 seconds till Elder spawns. Stend is dead for 17. Sheo's dead for 21. I don't think Team Heretics are even going to contest.
Yeah. It's going to be too hard for them to contest here. And I don't want to jinx them on their potential first win. But they have Soul, Elder, Nash, near 10k gold lead.
Nemesis is Thanos. Yeah, all these things.
They have all that they need to end this game.
And for Team Heretics, who were, it felt like, pretty in control at the earlier stages, punishing Los Ratones for overstepping, really started to fall behind the ball in that mid game, ultimately culminating in that one smite steal. I think if they secure that Baron, this is such a different game for them.
Yeah.
But ever since that moment, they just haven't really been able to do much.
I just think Nemesis has just been doing too much damage. And that's been what's really sealing the deal for them in the team fights. So now Stend needs to find a miracle engage.
Ice as well. 3.5 items. But with that ulti, you can still do a lot of work. Rekkles' unbreakable cooldown is going to be big here. See, Velja still low health, but has access to the ulti. Pops the maximum dosage. Boss isolated on the side. Flash forward from Serin. Immediate follow. Huge damage and Tracyn into the backline. But Nemesis still stands. The Elder still there. It's beautiful from Team Heretics, but it is too damn late. Los Ratones on the board.
And Nemesis is not going down without a fight as he continues to carry team fight after team fight on the rise.